Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I really wanted to take a look across the league at other teams that selected quarterbacks in the first round and ask the question, how does Zach Wilson's supporting cast stack up against these other rookie quarterback situations, their supporting cast? And by situations, I mean, what are their offensive weapons looking like? How's their running game, their offensive line, their coaching staff? What about the defense? Okay, so it's just the entire team around the quarterbacks. Who's in the best situation? So let's start it off with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to give this team a C+, a little bit above average. This Jaguars team has some awesome young core pieces, specifically at the wide receiver position. Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark both have the potential to be household names by the end of the year. Both of these guys they're extremely underrated. They're playmakers, they're young, they should be in Jacksonville at least for the foreseeable future. They are awesome players to have at your disposal. Okay, you look at the running back position, you can just check the box. James Robinson and Travis Etienne, are you kidding me? Electric running back. So right off the bat, right from the jump, Trevor Lawrence has two go-to wide receivers, two awesome running backs that are versatile. They can do multiple things. And I mean, even if you go down the wide receiver depth chart, you still have Marvin Jones, who's been a reliable veteran wide receiver that knows this offense under new offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. All right, now I know Bevell's not really the sexy name. He's not the, a McVay, a Cliff Kingsbury. He's not going to be coming in with this revolutionary offense. But at the end of the day, Bevell's a pro. I mean, he's 51 years old. He has experience calling plays. He has experience running the entire offense by himself, because we all know Matt Patricia did not put in any effort on the offensive side of the football with Detroit. Okay, so from a coaching perspective, right, the guy who's going to be installing the offense, the guy who's going to be calling the plays, developing Trevor Lawrence, down to the depth chart, I really like what the Jacksonville Jaguars have. Now, I do have a lot of questions, though. Okay, question number one, what's happening on defense? And this is just a top to bottom thing. From the defensive backs, linebackers, defensive line, yes, they do have some core pieces. Josh Allen, Miles Jack, Chase on as well. Shaq Griffin was probably one of my favorite free agent acquisitions just in the entire NFL. Probably a top 5 favorite free agent signing for me personally. So yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars have that talent, but it's a really young defense. They got absolutely shredded last year. It'll be interesting to see how this defense looks on week 1 come Sunday under Urban Meyer, under this new guidance, this brand new coaching staff, and quite frankly, a guy who's never done it before in Urban Meyer, at least at the pro game. Now, I'm not doubting Meyer. I'm actually really excited to see how it plays out, and I do have faith. I like that hire to begin with. So another question mark that I have about the Jacksonville Jaguars are the holes on the offensive line. Can Juwan Taylor take that positive step forward? Can Andrew Norwell get back to playing some solid, let's be honest, some dominant football? At one point in time, Andrew Norwell was a dominant guard in this league. He didn't look like that last year. Now, I do love Lindor at center, but at left tackle, Cam Robinson, a guy who obviously has that upside, really solid college player, but they also drafted Walker Little, a humongous tackle from Stanford, battled with some injuries, but that's just a guy to keep your eye on, just as far as, the tackle position. Maybe he can see some playing time early, of course, barring any injury reoccurrence or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it's a C+ for me. Next up, Trey Lance with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm giving the supporting cast an A. I mean, really, you look across the board, they have so many things figured out. They have arguably the best tight end in the National Football League in George Kittle. Okay, a versatile, physical, playmaking tight end who is so much more than a security blanket. The guy is flat out amazing. They have the defense. They have some playmakers at wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Okay, this offense is going to run the football because it's being ran by Kyle Shanahan. And speaking of Kyle Shanahan, he is one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, the guy is an offensive mastermind. For a fact, his offense is always going to be put in a position to have success. He knows exactly how to call a game. He knows exactly how to attack a defense. You're in good hands with Coach Kyle. All right, you're looking at the offensive line. They went out and they added Alex Mack, Trent Williams, fantastic. McGlinchey, great run blocker. This supporting cast is awesome, not to mention Jimmy Garoppolo is still there, so Trey Lance doesn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders from day one. He's a guy that he can learn from, lean on for advice, watch in practice, watch in preseason, or even in the regular season as well. But I do have a couple question marks about the 49ers. The first just being the division that they play in. I mean, the three teams that are in the NFC West alongside the 49ers are fantastic. The Cardinals, pretty good team, got a lot better this offseason. The Seattle Seahawks, pretty good team, got better this offseason. And then, of course, the LA Rams, a pretty good team that got better this offseason. Three great quarterbacks, Wilson, Stafford, Kyler. It's going to be a bloodbath. The NFC West is stacked. And then my other concern is that the 49ers did lose some quality coaches. I'm not just saying that because I am a Jet fan, but you look at how much Robert Saleh, how much Mike LaFleur meant to that team. They played a big part. Okay, they had a lot of responsibilities. Now those guys are going to be gone. So the 49ers definitely have their work cut out for them, but they have the players and the coaches in place to get it done. It's an A for me. Next up, Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. I'm giving this supporting cast a B-. Now, the first thing that just jumps right off the page at you is the Super Bowl caliber defense. This defense is lights out. They are incredible. Okay, now, of course, they did lose Kyle Fuller. Very, very annoying. It's not like Fuller's dipping in production. It's not like he's some old, aging veteran. No, it was purely financial. So I feel for the Bears fans. I mean, there's nothing worse than that. Just having to say goodbye to a core piece on defense over money. It sucks. It sucks. I feel you. I was there with Revis, but they do have Allen Robinson at the end of the day, a top 10 wide receiver. Let's face it, Allen Robinson is better than any wide receiver on Jacksonville, any wide receiver on San Fran, any wide receiver on New York or New England. This guy's legit. He is great. Allen Robinson is a top 10 wideout for a reason. They have their running back situation figured out. Montgomery's average, maybe a little bit above average, and then of course Cohen, just a playmaking running back. Okay, so Justin Fields has some talent around him, for sure. A top 10 guy. We had the running back situation figured out. Great. I do have some question marks, though. What's happening with this coaching staff? Is this going to be the coaching staff for the long haul? Matt Nagy gets a lot of heat, okay? But I will say this. I do feel like Justin Fields fits the offensive system really, really well. And I do feel like Fields will be productive, highly productive, playing within the confines of the system. Now, of course, I'm assuming here that Andy Dalton is replaced at some point in the season. Now, if we're only getting a 2-game sample size from Justin Fields, it is what it is. But if Fields gets 10 games this year, I expect him to put up some pretty solid numbers. But the thing is, what are the expectations for the Bears? Will this Bears organization fire the coaching staff if they get 8 wins, 7 wins, but Justin Fields looks pretty good? There's a lot of question marks there. I don't really know. My other concern is wide receiver depth outside of Allen Robinson. Who's going to step up? Will it be Anthony Miller? Will it be Wims? Who's it going to be? Just depth overall, depth at the offensive line. I like Tevin Jenkins. That was a huge, huge draft pick. Being able to snag him in the second round, great. Just depth everywhere on offense, I feel like is kind of a concern outside of course, quarterback and running back. So for me, it's a B-. Next up, Mac Jones and the Patriots. I'm giving this situation a B. I feel like going into 2021, the Patriots have so many different things figured out. Right off the bat, they have the coaching staff in place. Belichick, McDaniels, some of the best guys in the league. Okay, I mean, they won 7 games last year with all of the dysfunction, all of the turmoil, and they still managed to compete at the end of the season. Okay, you look at the tight end position. Of course, the Patriots went out and they signed the 2 best tight ends on the market, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. You can argue maybe they overpaid a little bit for him, but at the end of the day, we know how dangerous 12 personnel is with the New England Patriots. We've seen it before. So they have that position locked and loaded. They always seem to get a lot of production out of the running backs. They went out, they retained David Andrews, a huge underrated pickup. They reacquired Trent Brown. The defense is kind of a new look defense with Judon, and I really feel like this Patriots team, man, is kind of flying under the radar, unfortunately. But I do have some questions. I do have some questions about the Patriots. Number one, what's happening at wide receiver? I feel like the wide receiver depth has still not been addressed. I feel like that could be what plagues the Patriots offense this year, because they have no production from those positions. Now, I will say this, we have seen guys step up in the past, guys that kind of pop up out of nowhere with Belichick. A lot of the household names that we know came out of nowhere. They were undrafted guys. They were later round guys. So who's to say it won't happen again? But on paper going into 2021, the wide receiver position just simply isn't there. We also have to take a look at the division that the Patriots play in, the AFC East. The Bills are great, the Dolphins are great, the Jets, 2-win team last year, but they got a lot better. So it's a B for me, and I really can't factor in the division into supporting cast. It's not really a factor, but it's definitely something to look at when you look at strength of schedule and whatnot. So anyway, B for me. And last but not least, of course, Zach Wilson with the New York Jets. I'm also giving this situation a B. I think when you look, and ironically enough, when you look at the wide receiver position, unlike the Patriots, we are stacked. We are great at wide receiver, and it feels like I'm living in the twilight zone, because when was the last time the Jets can say, oh yeah, we have tons of offensive firepower? I can't even remember. I cannot even remember. Maybe 2015. I think that's probably the last year when we had legitimate threats at that position. Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Newmont burst onto the scene that season as well. I mean, man, you look at this wide receiver core, it's great. Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, 5 absolute playmakers, 5 guys that will get the job done. You look at the offensive line, a huge weakness last year. They went out and they added pieces. We already have Becton in place. We go out and we address the biggest need on the team with one of the safest players in the draft, AVT, Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard, Morgan Moses at right tackle. Morgan Moses, a great player coming over from Washington. Yeah, we have some concerns over the right guard position, but at center, we're hoping that this system really gets Connor McGovern going again, or we're hoping that he looks like how he did back in Denver. Now on defense, the Jets have a lot of awesome pieces as well. Now, I don't think they'll come out of the gate swinging whenever you have a systematic change on the defense side of the football, a huge, drastic change. It always takes some time, especially, in the first half of the year, but man, we still have the Marcus Mays of the world, the Carl Lawsons, the CJ Mosleys, the Gerard Davises of the world, the Sheldon Rankins and Quinnen Williams. I mean, these guys can play football. These guys are, not only do they all have high ceilings, but they all project really well into this defensive system. You also have to take a look at the guys that are going to be calling these plays, implementing these systems on both sides of the football. Jeff Ulbrich, Mike LaFleur, okay, Robert Saleh at the helm, a highly coveted head coach in this past offseason. Okay, he interviewed with the Jags, he interviewed with the Jets, he interviewed with the Chargers and the Eagles. This guy was wanted, and the Jets were able to land him. He built a fantastic staff as well. Okay, so the Jets, from a coaching perspective, from a system perspective, from a personnel perspective, we're getting better at every single category. So for Zach Wilson, and by the way, the system fits Zach Wilson's skill set to a T. I mean, they go hand in hand. So it's a B for me. I feel like there's going to be some great games. There's going to be some poor games. There's going to be some ups, some downs, some speed bumps along the way for sure. That's just what comes with having a young team, a young coaching staff, a brand new rookie quarterback. But when it's all said and done, I feel really confident in the direction that this team is going in, and bringing it full circle here, the supporting cast. So it's a B for me. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who has the best supporting cast out of all of these first-round rookies? Of course, I wanted to include some other guys like Kellen Mond in Minnesota, and Davis Mills in Houston, but I just don't know how much playing time those guys are realistically going to get in year one, unless maybe Davis Mills surprises a lot of people and, Deshaun Watson gets traded or something like that. But really, those are the guys that I wanted to focus on in today's video. So again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, go Jets.